don't know if people know. Well, he's fairly big on YouTube, so people would know. Certainly not more famous than I am, but here we are. Hello, welcome back to Al Talks. This podcast I started 3 years ago to chronicle me starting stand-up. This podcast is a weekly podcast. It comes out once a week, and this is just a small little introduction video into the podcast. So down below in the description of each episode, you can go to my Linktree and find links to everything connected to me. This podcast is available on YouTube, which you're watching it on right now, and also on Spotify. But yeah, that is just a small introduction into this podcast and everything that goes along with it. Hello, welcome back to Al Talks. This episode of, I suppose, a weird concoction of things to discuss. I'm going to be talking about Matt Rife, the comedian. I don't know if people know. Well, he's fairly big on YouTube, so people would know. Certainly not more famous than I am, but here we are. We're going to talk about the upcoming AC/DC concert I'm going to this week. And then next week's episode will be a Heavy Metal Memories episode. Haven't had one of those in a while, which is fun. And I went off and used, I can't remember what it was, I think Microsoft Edge or some Microsoft program that basically has AI built into it to design some logos to use in thumbnails and stuff. And to be honest, it came out pretty well. I was very, very happy with it. So I will be using those in upcoming Heavy Metal Memories episodes. So that'll be fun. And then the last thing, this podcast kind of, it started off as, being about comedy, but it's also about general stuff that I like. And we'll talk about Pacific Drive, which is a game on, I think, multiple consoles, if I'm aware, but I'm playing on PS5. So that's all for the show. Tune in back after this commercial break. No, there's no commercial break. We're just going straight through like a train into a mountain. So yes, the Matt Rife was on the Are You Garbage podcast, and like I saw the episode come up and then it was taken down, and I was like, okay, because I was going in to listen to it, and I was like, I wouldn't be like his biggest comedy fan, but like, he has funny bits, like, game recognized game. For lack of a better term, I suppose. The sound stuff is going off the radar. I hope it comes out okay in the end, but hello. I don't know. Hello? Okay, we'll continue on anyway. I think it's okay. So the episode got taken down off all the platforms, and I did a Google, and it seems in the episode he mentioned where his new house was. The term people use online is called doxing. So he give his location away of his new house, and I think his publicist or agent or somebody asked the Are You Garbage guys to take it down, but they could have easily edited the video out, and I don't know, but anyway, it was taken down. It hasn't come back up yet. They released a new episode today with Brian Simpson, so I don't know if it will come back but I thought it was just really, really strange, because I remember reading in the comments actually as well before they took the episode down, because I did start listening to it, but I had to turn it off because I had to go and do something. That do something was called work. I had to go to work, so I just had to turn it off. And it was, one of the comments was like, I wouldn't think Matt Rife would be the kind of Are You Garbage podcast guest, but Are You Garbage had Rob Lowe on as a guest on as well, and that episode was great because Rob Lowe was like 15 or 16 when he started acting, and he was in the same high school as like Robert Downey Jr. and a couple of other big actors. So he was like, the garbage guys were like, oh, your yearbook must have been mad crazy, like, like high school yearbook photos and things. So it was a great episode. Rob Lowe was very, very fun, man. It was a great listen. Looks like it's starting to rain. No. And let me just pause this for a second. The computer program is running. OBS Studio is running, but it's acting a little weird. But like I said, it does seem to be running, and I hope this doesn't affect the episode. And so yeah. So I was talking about Rob Lowe, and I suppose we'll get on to the other thing, or the second thing, which is the AC/DC concert this Saturday. It's in a venue I've never been at, which is Croke Park. Croke Park is a historical Gaelic football pitch. A lot of history behind it, and it also has capacity for like 80 something now. I think it's like 82,000 people. That will definitely be the biggest gig I've ever been to. Slane Castle was like 65,000. It's a huge arena. I'm up very, very high. So it's like a stand called the Hogan stand, after a very famous GAA. I don't know. I think it was not John Cusack. I think a man called Cusack started Gaelic, or might have helped kind of structure the game and stuff. Because in the very early days, Gaelic football was a very, very rough sport before rules. People would get battered. It was kind of, how they used to play it was nearly kind of like rugby rules, which the thing they have in Australia, like a combination of Gaelic football and rugby. It was like very, very rough. People get battered around the place. So it was, and then I think in 18 something, I think it might have been Douglas. I can't remember. Like, I'm not a GA sports fan. I used to play when I was younger in school and stuff, but wouldn't be following the sport nowadays. So very, very excited, like, to listen to AC/DC live. Kind of bucket list band for me, and it just, looking forward to doing the Heavy Metal Memories episode, because I haven't really been to a rock and roll or a metal concert in a while. I think the last one was, I'll have a look in my notes. When was the last Heavy Metal Memories? Oh yeah, it's when I went to Judas Priest, which is episode 52. This episode now is 73, so it's 20 weeks ago. 21. I don't know. It's been a while. This was back in it's a couple of months ago. I think it was around Christmas time, or just before or after, I can't remember. But yeah, so that's that anyway. And the last thing I want to talk about, which is a game called Pacific Drive, which is a survival horror game that I've been playing. And it's developed by like an indie development studio called Ironwood. And it is fantastic. I really, 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 it's the focus of the game is it's set in kind of like this heavily forested area. Kind of looks like Oregon in the US or something. And it's about a place called the Olympic Exclusion Zone, which is an area of this kind of fictional land that the government sealed off that nobody really knows. But you end up going into it, and you'll soon find out the reason that it's walled off is because there was weird scientific like anomalies there and stuff like that. So to prevent it escaping the area, the government walled it off. So that's basically the background. And the aim of the game is you go into there's 3 tiers of zones. There's the outer zone, the mid zone, and I think the deep zone it's called. And they increase in difficulty, but you have to travel throughout these areas. You need this station wagon. This station wagon is your life. You have to, for like it's very innovative because when you get into the car, like the controls, it's a first person view, so you see it like you would in real life. And you get into the car, you have to turn the engine on. You have to put put the car in gear and stuff. It's automatic, so it just goes from park to drive. You can turn the radio on, the dome light. There's gauges you can play with and stuff. It's very hands-on. It's a very interesting game, and kind of this main story mission. So you explore, find more and more about the Olympic exclusion zone, stuff like that. Because once you get into it, you're essentially trapped. So you're trying to find a way out, and that's kind of the main story focus. Because there's other people in the exclusion zone that are also helping you. I don't think you get to meet them, you just hear them over the radio. So it's like one of those type of games. And I've played an awful lot of video games, and to me it's very, very interesting because it's different. It's kind of really out there, and it's done very, very well. So enjoying that game currently. Still haven't finished it, but it is quite entertaining. I've played about nearly 40 hours of it so far, and it's pretty good. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is... Oh no, there's no more things. I don't know why I was thinking there was something else. Yes, those were the 3 things. 3. And so yes, that will conclude this episode. It is very warm and stuffy currently in Ireland, which is not ideal. it's somewhat uncomfortable, but yeah. So next week's episode, I will be talking about the AC/DC concert and how it went and stuff like that. It might come out later in the week because I will be up. I won't be back home over the weekend. I'll be up in Dublin for 3 days and stuff. So we shall see how I am at work as well. Before I go, actually, I'm off my little break from comedy, so I'll be starting back up doing gigs soon. But I would also be working an awful lot more at a lot of people in work are going on holiday, so I'll be doing an awful lot more hours. So gonna have to try and squeeze stand up in there somewhere. But yes, so next week's episode will be Heavy Metal Memories about the AC/DC concert and any other shenanigans I get up to while I'm up in Dublin. I think I might try and go see a show Friday night. I'm not sure. I want to also meet up with a friend of mine, so we'll see. Yeah, so that's it. As per usual, links down below to everything. And thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for all the support, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.